meeting. So we'll call the meeting to order, and if you would, please stand for prayer and pledge allegiance.
You would please bow with me. Heavenly Father, we come to you tonight to conduct business on behalf of this city. We ask that your presence be among us tonight and that we do your will as much as we possibly can. Father, we ask that you be with us as we leave this place. Keep us safe. Help us to gather back here at our next convened time. It's in your Son's precious name that we pray. Amen.
Amen. Chief Dowell, lead us in the pledge of allegiance.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Okay, thank you, Ken, for prayer. Thank you, Chief Dowell, for the pledge of allegiance. Do a roll call, everyone is present. Need a motion to approve the minutes of last month's meeting. Motion made by Alderman Coleman, second by Alderman Dodson. Any discussion? All for the motion, let it know by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, like sign, motion passes. Got some additions to add to the agenda. Got three. One, I failed to put Greg Davenport and J.R. Wofford Company on the agenda. That'd be, if it's approved, to be number 10. Item number 2, or item number 11 would be car subdivision, and item number 12 would be the lawnmower bids that came in today. So if those three items are okay to add, we'll take a
Mr. Mayor,
motion.
may I add one?
Yeah.
I'd like to request to add one more item, and that would be some clarification on commercial property zoning versus residential property zoning, please.
Okay. It'll be 13 for approval.
Do we need to remove number 3?
We could, yes. We'll delete number 3 since Mr. Masongill has already spoken.
Motion to approve the agenda with those changes.
Motion approved by Alderman Dodson, second by Alderman Langford. Any discussion? All for the motion, let it know by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, like sign. We, just before we get started, we are live streaming tonight. And we've not had any problems out of our speaker system, but for some reason tonight that we're live streaming, we've had some issues with it. But the cameras that you see up follows the microphone, so bear with us, bear with the sound of some feedback sound, as we will try to improve on down the road. But it is important that if you are addressing the council at the booth, that you touch the button and the red light will light up. Therefore, for our citizens out in the community that would like to watch it, the camera system follows the hot mic. And you can see one in the front of the room and one in the back. So we're glad that you can hear, but it's also for going out on the World Wide Web. So with that said, we'll get started. Here, we don't have any item under old business. We'll go right into new business with the Downtown Revitalization Committee, Mr. Ray Evans.
So last month's meeting, recall that that we reported regarding the TDOT multimodal access grant that we had been awarded, and that we were going through the process of doing the paperwork with TDOT. in order to satisfy the requirements before they execute the contract. That work has been completed, and we have an executed contract now with TDOT to move forward. Also, I reported to you that we have received 6 proposals from engineering firms to actually do the design work on the project. We made a short list, we, the committee, made a short list of 3 of those firms, and between our last, this meeting and the last meeting, we interviewed in this room those 3 firms. Excellent presentations all the way around, but the committee unanimously picked Kimley Horn, the national office of Kimley Horn, to do the work. Kimley Horn is a very large national firm, offices all over the country, probably 3,500 employees nationwide. But we, to the person, were extremely impressed by the individuals that gave the presentation itself. We've been in the process of working on fee numbers for them since we have made that selection. And I think that we are that close to a final number. So what I would ask of this board tonight is to allow Mayor Hayes to negotiate and ultimately contract with Kimley Horn for that work for a lump sum amount, and that lump sum amount not exceed a number of $105,000. We think it will be something less than that, but it will be a lump sum contract, not a time and materials, etc. And so I would ask that this board would authorize the mayor to enter into those final negotiations and to execute a contract with them, subject to TDOT's approval of that contract.
Any questions for?
Ray, I missed last month's meeting. What are they gonna be doing now? I missed last month's meeting.
I killed you, Mike, right? Not gonna hit you.
So the contract, the grant that we were awarded is for sidewalk improvements on both sides of Main Street and Broad Street, from the courthouse square down to the chamber, removal and replacement of the curbing, the dilapidated curbing around the courthouse, and a couple of other little spot locations. It's a 95-5 match, so we're only paying for 5% of the total cost.
Ray, on the sidewalk, is this gonna be inside lanes, like on Chris's side and First National side, or both sides of the street?
Both sides of the street.
I was questioning about that, so.
Replacing the old sidewalks that are in bad shape, in some cases building new sidewalks that have never been there, haven't been there in years, and solving a bunch of the drainage problems that are associated with the sidewalk.
The 95-5 match is the 5% to we're gonna pay or whatever. Does that come out of the downtown money, or is that city money that we're gonna pay?
City money.
City money.
Yeah.
So $105,000, maximum will be $5,000-6,000. Is that right?
Yes, sir.
For new sidewalks and drains, and I make a motion that we go with that.
Okay, the motion was to allow myself to go in contract negotiations with Kimley Horn at the price that Mr. Evans said. I'm terribly sorry about this feedback, folks, but we'll work through it. So that was the motion made by Alderman Langford. Is that correct, Mr. Langford?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so there's a motion. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Motion second by Alderman Ken Dodson. Discussion.
Okay, let's, the 5%, let's clarify this now. The $105,000 now for the project, this is with the contract with Kim Horn and her company in Nashville, correct?
This would be a contract for design services, not for
Design.
construction.
Design, David, so that's gonna, you understand, okay, because, so it'd be for design services, and then the other would be, okay, that's, just wanted to clarify that. Thank you, sir.
Thank you. So there's a motion and a second. Any more discussion? Roll call vote, Ms. Phillips.
Alderman Dodson,
Yes.
Alderman Langford,
Yes.
Alderman Speck,
Yes.
Vice Mayor Mooney,
Yes.
Alderman Coleman,
Yes.
Alderman Eastman,
Yes.
motion passed.
Motion passed. Also under downtown revitalization, I think Ms. Shannon Cantor will be present.
Yes.
Can you come to the podium, please, for your announcement? Press your microphone, please.
So I've been approached by a number of bands for them to play at the park. Many of them, you know, they don't really have the money to reserve the park and come and play. And the whole point of it was for us to be able to let our local bands come and enjoy the park, and people of the community come listen to them as well. So I have proposed that maybe we choose 3 Saturdays in the summer to allow bands to come by the hour, 2 hours, however long they want to play. I'll just have to fix some type of schedule and allow them to be able to come and play for free. So far, that seems to be working out rather well with the few bands that I have spoke with. We've chosen May 11th, July 20th, and September 21st to allow them to fill slots during that time. We've had quite a few people already schedule certain events for the summer, and I think we're going to have quite a bit on our schedule anyway. And of course, the people who have done this so far are people who are okay with paying the fees to rent the stage and to do whatever they want to do to make their event a success. But there are a few out there who kind of get left on the wayside and get their feelings hurt because they can't come play because they don't really want to pay the fee. So this was just a way to try to incorporate that for these folks and be able to have them come and enjoy the park just as well.
Thank you. What was the third date?
It would be September 21st.
Well, those bands or individuals be responsible for their own promotion and so forth?
Yes, absolutely.
We're not doing.
No, we're not responsible for any of that.
We will be supplying the sound engineer. We'll be supplying that, so, and that'll take care of the lighting and, the mixing board and things of that nature.
That'll come out of the city budget.
Yes.
I have a question, but I don't want to push the button. Shannon, thank you for presenting this. How do you believe that this board in the future then will have the ability to differentiate who should pay and who should be allowed to play for free? Because just because someone says that they would prefer to play for free doesn't mean that they don't necessarily have the means that everyone else that's there. I mean, I'm concerned about that slippery
No, I
slope.
understand that too, and I've thought about that as well. Was really just trying to, well, let's put it this way. Me doing what I do for the park, I do bear a lot of the brunt of the complaints because they come to me first. So, you know, to me, this was my way of trying to bridge a gap. So,
I guess I'm confused. If a band wants to go to the park and play on one of these designated evenings for free,
yeah.
what is in it for them? I mean, are they gonna, I don't understand. Are they just gonna go down there and play and then invite their friends, or are they gonna?
Well, they'll promote, I mean, I get what you're saying. They'll promote it just like they would, you know, any other gig that they might be doing. So if 100 people show up, great. 200 show up, that's good too, but, you know, it's up to them to promote themselves and to try to get the people there to watch them.
I guess it's a free commercial for them. They're auditioning for, maybe somebody will hire them for something, or something. I don't know.
If the band pays and comes down there and plays, what do they get out of it anyway? Do we pay them?
No.
So they're just playing to pay?
Yeah, I think the biggest issue is a lot of bands feel like just anytime they want to come play somewhere, we're going to pay for them to come play. And they don't feel like they should have to pay.
I don't understand this at all.
In the past, Alderman Langford and Alderman Coleman, the downtown revitalization has had monies to sponsor certain events held out at Central Park. So I think what the committee decided to do, given the fact that there had been some complaints about not being able to afford the engineer, or afford to rent the park, afford to use the stage and things of that nature. So there's three free days that anyone that wants to show up and play down there can play at absolutely no charge to them. So, and what happens is they get the lighting, they get the main stage, and they get the sound engineer at absolutely no cost. Now, as it was said earlier, as far as promoting their event, they will be responsible of promoting their own event. I just think that, so there's no rhyme or reason if anybody signs up, they can do this.
In the past though, would it be the case that if downtown revitalization or the chamber or the city, basically we would be hiring a band to come and perform at a chamber city sponsored function event,
That's
correct?
right. That's correct.
So that's an example of when our funds would be used to hire a band.
Right.
That's different, I think. You're saying just these people want to come and play, and
Right.
just invite their friends or whatever?
Right.
Yeah,
Okay, so it's really just letting somebody use the park for free, the way I see it. Okay.
Bring the guitar and amp, plug
Yeah,
in there,
right.
deal, go play.
That's right.
I don't have a problem with
All right.
that.
So,
Let's just make sure that the public understands that it's not just show up and play. They do need to schedule with you. It's
Right.
not
Well, it's
just-
gonna be scheduled.
And that this is not a city-sponsored
No.
event?
that's right. That's right. So we just need a motion to allow those days, May 11th, July 20th, and September 21st, to have bands to come down and have absolutely no charge to them, and scheduled through the city of Livingston through Miss Shannon County. Is there a motion?
So moved.
Motion made by Alderman Ken Dodson,
I'll second.
second by Alderman Speck. Any discussion? All for the motion, let them know by saying aye. All opposed, like sign, motion passed. Thank you, Ms. Cameron. Also, Ms. Rock the Block, Ms. Barbie Roberts, under this as well.
I am Barbara Roberts from Vision Livingston. We just wanted to inform the mayor and the aldermen and the citizens that we're having our next Rock the Block on Saturday, May 4th, 8 a.m. to 12 noon. In Vision Livingston, in partnership with Upper Cumberland Habitat for Humanity and Hutchinson, we'll be going into a neighborhood and helping those citizens by cleaning up yards, planting flowers, hauling stuff to the road for pickup. The neighborhood that's been chosen this time is by Livingston Regional Hospital. We need volunteers, we need financial sponsors. I've got flyers about that if anybody's interested. And I would hope that people would be interested because it's a wonderful day for the residents and for the volunteers. That's all, thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Roberts. Okay, item number 2 is, Mr. Charlie Smith from the Bar Design. I think he was talking with, Mr. Rogers in the back there, but, I just need a motion to allow him to move forward with the study, that he discussed, to get with TDOT and come back to us a month from now, with an action plan that may be something we can do.
Mr. Mayor, I thought he was gonna come back with a proposal to do a study.
Yeah. I'll rephrase that.
Is that right? I mean, is that
Proposal,
correct?
that's right.
Yeah.
So do you need a motion for him to give us a proposal?
Well, it's not gonna cost us anything, but yeah,
So we,
motion made by Ken Dodson for the Bar Design Company to give us a proposal on what we can do. Second by Vice Mayor Winningham. Any discussion? All for the motion, let know, saying aye. All opposed, like sign, motion passed. Item number 3 has been deleted, you've heard from Chris Massengill. Item number 4 is the ordinance to amend chapter 1, title 13 of the Livingston Municipal Code related to property maintenance regulations in regard to slum clearance. Has everyone had an opportunity to look over this?
Yes.
So we won't have a discussion. If not,
A couple questions.
okay.
Who do I direct the question?
It'd be, Mr. Evans or Ms. Barbie or.
Okay. One question that I had would be 13-404. 13-404, initiation of proceedings and hearings. It says whenever a petition is filed with a public officer by a public authority or at least 5 residents of the town charging that any structure is unfit. My question is, who is a public authority? Is that a body, this body, a person? Who is a public authority?
It could be the housing authority, it could be the city of Livingston, it could be the county, as far as that's concerned.
Okay, so for example, let me use a real world example here.
Mr. Evans, can you go to the microphone, please?
Okay, so the property located at the corner of Miller and McHenry, the abandoned trailer park. Okay, the way I see it, that property fits many of the violations listed within the slum clearance ordinance. So my question is, it states that 5 residents need to file a petition, come together. Or is that a property that this body must unanimously vote on before we can move forward with applying the violations in this code? I'm not sure I understand that.
So that language is taken,
Undo your skill.
that language is taken directly out of the Tennessee Code annotated language that establishes a municipality's right to do slum clearance. Identical language in probably 95% of the ordinances that are in the state of Tennessee. I can't tell you for certain why it says 5 citizens.
Right.
But that language is actually in the Tennessee Code annotated. I suspect that it's so a single neighbor can't pick on his next door neighbor, but I'm not certain of that.
Because that's not in any of the other previous property maintenance codes that
Correct.
we've seen. So
Correct.
I wasn't sure how this is different.
And so as far as who can initiate it, the building inspector himself can initiate it on his own without any complaint from any citizen.
Okay, but so technically, we could ask the building inspector to address this, these ordinances in this code to that property? without-
Yeah, as I read this, Kelly, I thought that it would be just like our normal property maintenance advisory board, because that's, as I read this, that's what it says.
Yeah, I didn't read it that way, so that's why,
Okay.
yeah.
I read it that they were going from the
I
property.
wasn't at the
maintenance.
last property maintenance meeting, but I did watch it on the computers and everything, and there's one thing that in there that doesn't apply at all, which I don't like none of it, make it so clear. But, Mr. Roberts also said that, they could report something and be anonymously, didn't have to say their name or anything. Looks like to me that turns neighbor against neighbor, that automatically does it. If you're not willing to state your ground, make your name plain, why would you even consider it?
I think the reasoning behind that was fear of retaliation.
I'd say there probably will be some retaliation. I'd say you're right.
I would like to address that because that issue came up with myself personally. I feel like if a person makes a complaint and they take it, to City Hall and it gets investigated, if the person who's being complained upon asks who complained against me, it would make it, it would put them at risk for harm if that person.
Do they have to tell you who they are, or can they just call up on the phone and say, hey, I don't like this person's yard?
No, there's a complaint form that's filed at City Hall.
So they have to fill it out and write it out, and it is on file?
Yes, yes.
Okay.
And it just makes it, several people have come to us and said that they feel uncomfortable putting their name on there, and since I myself have been through this, I know it's a very scary thing when you think that someone has your name, address, and phone number, and that they can retaliate if they choose so.
Let me clarify something, say there, Robert. The new form is anonymous. It don't require a name of the company.
It's optional.
It's optional, anonymous, David, so.
So you don't have to.
You
No.
don't have to, you can choose to if you want to, but you don't have to.
Well, there was a citizen contacted me about that, so so you don't have to put it on there, so let's make the public aware.
Right,
They
that's
don't
what we
have to-
now said at our meeting, that from this point forward, they don't have to put their name and address and phone
It's
number
optional.
on there, it's
Okay.
optional.
Thank you, Barbara.
But I'd like to clarify that just because someone makes a complaint does not automatically put the property in violation or make the owner of that property
Right.
have to, and, you know, all it does is puts the officer on alert to go, and then they decide whether or not it's worthy of bringing before the advisory board.
When this issue of anonymity came up, the first thing I did was go online and start doing research. And in Tennessee, I found at least 20 communities that in fact have anonymous filings. I didn't find any that specifically prohibited it. But so that told me that and I'm sure those communities have discussed this with the in-house attorneys, and that's how they've arrived at that. And I guess one thing I want to make very clear on this is this is a code that is about dwellings, whether they're residential or commercial, dwellings that have been, appear to be inhabitable and have been determined to be inhabitable. These aren't Mrs. Jones' gutters hanging down. It's not, a broken window in a home necessarily, but it's homes that have been determined not to be habitable.
Specifically, effects that are hazardous fire accidents, et cetera, et cetera. I have asked that these property maintenance codes be linked on the city's website so that anybody can go view, any of these property maintenance codes that they wish.
I think too, people should realize that the definitions are really spelled out in these codes, so it can't be just a personal opinion. It's just really clear in the code what fits that definition.
Okay,
I'm good.
is there any more discussion? Are we gonna make a motion on this or not?
The way I understand it, one of the reasons why we're needing to adopt this particular ordinance is so that the city will have some ability to address issues like this, where a property's been abandoned and it's unsafe, unfit, potentially harmed, et cetera.
That's correct, Alderman.
And this is our first reading to adopt this, correct?
That's right.
Because you brought it by Thursday, I had a chance to read it, but that's.
Motion to approve. Mayor, have you tried to talk to the owner of that trailer park down there to see if he's gonna do anything with it? And what did he tell you?
When he'd like to sell it.
I second Ken's motion.
Motion made by Ken Dodson, second by Alderman Speck. Is there any discussion? Roll call vote, Ms. Phillips.
Alderman Magley.
No.
Alderman Speck.
Yes.
Vice Mayor Winningham.
Yes.
Alderman Coleman.
Yes.
Alderman Dishman.
No.
Alderman Dodson,
Yes.
4 yes, 2 no, motion passed.
4 yes, 2 no, motion passes. Item number, will be a public hearing on that on April the 6th, 5:45 here at City Hall. Item number 5 is the ordinance 2019-4-2, amended Title 13, Chapter 2, Property Maintenance Regulations. If you've had an opportunity to look at that. May, that'd be a public hearing on May 6th, sorry. It'll be May 6th. So, item number 5, ordinance 2019-4-2, amended Title 13, Chapter 2, Property Maintenance Regulations. There were some revisions. Ray Evans?
So this is a chapter that this body has previously approved on 2 readings, but that was also prior to you approving and adopting the Property Maintenance Advisory Board. So there's simply language in here that details the steps and the involvement in the Property Maintenance Advisory Board toward abandoned vehicles. No other changes.
Mr. Evans, quick question. Is it your understanding that if a complaint is filed that warrants that the codes inspector visit a property to determine if in fact, in his opinion, it does violate an ordinance, if that complaint were for, let's say, an abandoned vehicle violation, if he finds during that visit that there are multiple other violations, is it your understanding then that he should be reporting that to the advisory board? Or would it, I mean, do we turn a blind eye to multiple other violations, or do we just go and inspect the violation that the complaint's been received?
Well, I think it would be up to the codes inspector if there's violations on the property while it was there, is to report all the violations, not just the ones that is there. There may be one that got him there, but if there's others there, for an example, if the police department got a call on something and there's other illegal activity going on, I don't think that they turn a blind eye, or the same way the fire department went to put out a fire in a certain room, but it would be in that room and another. But my point is, if there's violations there, I think it's our job to take care of it.
Duly noted. However, that was not the way it was presented at the last meeting. There was, the advisory board determined after seeing photographs that there were multiple violations, yet I was just trying to make that clarification.
Motion to approve it as amended.
Second.
Motion made by Alderman Dodson, second by Alderman Coleman. Any discussion? Any discussion? Roll call vote, Ms. Phillips.
Alderman Speight,
Yes.
Vice Mayor Willingham,
Yes.
Alderman Coleman,
Yes.
Alderman Ishman,
No.
Alderman Dodson,
Yes.
Alderman Langford,
No.
4 yes, 2 no, motion passed.
4 yes, 2 no's, motion passes. 4 yes, 2 no, motion passes. Item number 6 is ballpark employees. Hire the following: Lawrence Hawkins, Wayne Gilpatrick, Bruce Dillon, Gibb Jolly, Mitchell Ayers, Will Sims, Garrison Paget, Dave Robbins, Pearson Coleman, Wesley Smith. These are the same amount that we had last year to get the job as recommended by the park supervisor. Yeah, make a motion.
I make the motion that we accept those employees as presented for the
Motion made by Alderman Coleman. Is there a second?
I'll second that.
Second by Alderman Chris Speck. Any discussion?
Is the
Roll call.
ballpark ready to play ball? Are we up and ready?
Yeah, David, we're up and ready.
All dugouts are fixed?
All the dugouts are completed, everything's, completed. We gotta do some, dressing up, and, we'll start Saturday, and everything will be complete on Saturday.
Thank you. Roll call vote, Ms. Phillips.
Vice Mayor Ringholm,
Yes.
Alderman Coleman,
Yes.
Alderman Bushman,
Yes.
Alderman Dodson,
Yes.
Alderman Langford,
Yes.
Alderman Speck,
Yes.
motion passed.
Motion passed. Motion passed. Item number 7 is hire of Ms. Rebecca Clayton to replace Ms. Haley Burnett. Ms. Haley has went to work for the State of Tennessee Department of Insurance and Commerce. Ms. Rebecca Clayton from TCAT has came back to us, and that's our recommendation to hire.
Make a motion to hire Ms. Clayton. She's done an excellent job before she left. She's done an excellent job now. I'll make a motion for her back to work.
I'll
Motion,
second.
motion made by Alderman Langford for the replacement of Haley to be Ms. Rebecca Clayton, second by Mr. Dishman. Any discussion? All for the motion, let it know by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, like sign, motion passed.
I'd also like to say that Ms. Haley Burnett done an excellent job also.
Yes, she did. Item number 8 is hire a policeman, Mr. Lyle Blodgett, Chief Greg Etheridge.
Yes, sir. As you all recall, yes, sir. As you all recall, back in about September or October, we hired 4 brand-new recruits to send to the police academy. One of those individuals backed out right before. He just had to think about it, thought it wasn't at the right time. I respected that. So we had 1 spot left to send someone to the police academy. And Mr. Blodgett had already interviewed with us once. We brought him back in for another interview. The lieutenants and sergeants recommended him to me. He and I spent quite a bit of time together. He served his country already in the Marines, and he's still in the Marine Reserve. So he would be my recommendation to hire at this time for the police department.
Greg, got one quick. He's already certified, correct?
No, sir, he's
He's
not.
not. He'll be going to school.
Yes, sir.
Thank you for your service.
Make a motion to hire Mr. Blodgett.
Motion made by Alderman David Langford
I'll
to
second.
hire Mr. Lyle Blodgett as a policeman. Second by Alderman Dishman. Any discussion? All for the motion, let it know by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, like sign. Motion passed. Thank you, Chief.
Thank you.
Welcome aboard, Mr. Blodgett.
Thank you, sir.
Item number 9 is just for your information only, is reported debt obligation. It's for your review, nothing below that. Item number 10, Mr. Greg Davenport, J.R. Walford and Company. Greg?
Thank you, Mayor. Do I have to press this when I get done talking?
When you're done, yes.
Okay, it's a test. Y'all got a lot going on in the city of Livingston. I came to you today just to give you an update on where we are on several projects, water and sewer. And the first thing I'd like to say is that the raw water intake on the Cumberland River functioned flawlessly through the 58,000 CFS discharge from Wolf Creek Dam. And as much as I'd like to take credit for that, Roy Walford designed that, and I just want to point out to you that you got what you paid for. The first water project is the Monroe Water Project. It's in service. According to the system operators. It's made a vast improvement on the delivery of water north of town. And it was a good move on your part to move forward with that. The closeout's underway. There's still some punch list items that need to be addressed, but the line's in service and it's functioning properly. The other water project is the project that's under design to Hillham. And you'll recall it came to you last fall and we moved forward in the design phase on that project. We've had aerial surveys conducted, we've done our field work, it's in drafting now. I expect it to be complete in 4 to 6 weeks and ready to advertise for bids. The plan with the new bond issue through the TML bond fund was to also bid the remaining 5 pumping stations that were not allowed to be constructed due to overrun the bids on the project, the county plant, and the Taylor Street pumping station. We're revising those plans as part of the original design, and when we get the Hillham Water Project completed, we will bid those at the same time and see how the financing works out. The last project was the wastewater treatment plant project, and I just met with Danny Langford at the plant. If you recall, it was a new fine screen at the headworks, new diffusers for the sludge digesters, new flushing water pumps, new sump pumps, and some electrical improvements. And that project is in service. I'd say it's probably 95% complete. That was funded by a community development block grant in the amount of $525,000. And Danny and I need to I'm gonna come up one day when we don't have a lot of other stuff going on and go through the wastewater treatment plant with him and close it out. But it's really made a big improvement on the amount of solids that are getting into lagoons. And I guess you could say you haven't really done anything major at that plant since 1992, and it's still functioning well. So that's about the extent of what I've got to say as far as bid dates for the 5 sewage pumping stations and the Hillham Water Project. I would say that would be mid to late June. So if you've got any questions, I'd be glad to answer them at this time.
Any questions for Mr. Davenport?
Remind me again which pump stations here in town that this is addressing. Is there one in Hidden Valley? And then one in the Carr Avenue?
Yes, and there's one at the high school, there's Hillcrest, Buena Vista is one of them.
Industrial Park.
And Industrial Park. You're welcome. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Greg. You're more than welcome to stay, or you can head back to Nashville, whichever you decide.
I think we'll head back.
Okay. Item number 11 is Carr subdivision. Mr. Kelly Coleman.
Thank you, Mayor. I've been asked by a couple of people over there what's the update, and so maybe we can ask Mr. Wayne to give us a little update. But the way I understood it, we're maybe a little bit behind on the pre-paving work that we need to do due to the work that we've got to do subsequent to the flooding, et cetera. But I believe we're scheduled sometime in the next 60 days to receive bids for the paving, and hopefully your remediation or pre-work will be done by when you anticipate.
You may be getting bids by then on the Carr Avenue, but you want that whole subdivision, there's no way.
Yeah.
I still like some on the.
I just said to receive the asphalt bids, not a scheduled date for it to be laid. But my question is, when do you anticipate having your work done so that we can begin the paving?
I plan on going back over there tomorrow, start working tomorrow. Maybe a week or 2 weeks, finish some Carr Avenue, just where we want to run into on water and gas.
How long do you think it'll take to complete the entire subdivision?
In a good dry summer, it won't take too long, but I mean, it's gonna take a while. That stuff needs to settle in too before you pave it.
So when do you anticipate us being ready to pave the Buena Vista neighborhood?
It's hard for me to say.
Well, those people kind of want an idea, is it gonna be this year, next year, when?
Well, I mean, that's just like when y'all voted it in. I told you then not to tell these people it's gonna be ready by April, because it's not.
No, but I think we told them that we would anticipate, bidding it out in the spring, early summer, with work commencing in the summer of 19.
When I've talked to Wayne about this, there's some more work to be done over the subdivision. As you know, we have the money, set aside to do the paving. According to what, Mr. Peak has told me, of course, due to some rain and things, we're running just a little bit behind, and we had a couple of situations that we had to address. They'll be back over in the Carr subdivision, as he said, tomorrow, and should be over for quite some time. We do have city cleanup week coming up, so they may have to, a couple of his men may have to pull off to take care of some of those issues. But my goal is to try to have all of this paid this season before we get into cold weather and things of that nature. That's the goal. Or at least have half of it paid to what Wayne says is ready. He's just a little nervous about going over there, getting the road complete and not giving it time to settle, because he feels that that's just not, when you pave it, it'll be busting up and it'll be settling and things of that nature. So that's kind of where we are. Is that, am I saying it right, Wayne?
Yes. You go over and dig another water line across what I've done, you're gonna let that settle in.
So we've talked to the water department this morning. They're gonna take care of some business over there before we get started, and then go from there.
Thank you, sir.
Okay, item number 13, which is, did I skip one? Yeah, lawnmower bids. Here's the lawnmower bids that we received, and had just opened it today at 12, so I was unable to get them on the agenda. And you can see, that we had a lot of interest in it, so just recommend take the lowest bid.
So Lewis and Garden, that's full motors. Full motor service.
For mower
Where they got
service,
it?
$7,499, $7,499.20.
Where they at?
Full mower service, that'd be on the Church Street. I believe that's right.
Is that Don?
Yeah.
So that's the-
Take the lowest bid. That is, if it meets specifications to what we need.
It's met the specs.
And this is going up to city ballpark.
No, this actually is headed to the airport.
Or,
Yeah, so the airport, it will be receiving,
here,
receive this lawnmower, and, will be reimbursed for 80% of this coming back.
Are we just gonna buy one more, or we're gonna buy one from ballpark too?
No, we're buying one at this time.
One today.
That's correct.
Yes, two bids here. Do we need a bigger mower for the airport, per se?
From what we looked at the specs, as you can see, there's $83 difference. We think that this is sufficient enough. It is the same specs that we set out, so it's okay.
What's the difference between the 730 and the 850? I know the numbers, but what's that mean, the CCs or the bigger engine or what?
Yes, yes,
He's got the low bid on both of them.
that's correct.
I make a motion that, we buy the larger engine
Okay,
from Full Mower Service, LX 850B.
okay, whoa. I mean, Ron to withdraw his motion.
Oh,
He
okay.
didn't say it, he just.
Yeah, he
Yeah,
did.
Okay, I withdraw mine. Okay, I'm sorry.
Ron, if you want to.
Or go ahead.
Then, clarify your motion for the one with the big motor, but instead of the lowest bid. if that's-
So you withdraw your motion,
Okay,
right?
Withdraw it,
okay, yeah,
Okay,
I withdraw the motion, correct it with the big mower, but with him.
all right, so that will go to the $7,582.51. So there's a motion by Alderman Dishman, second by
Second.
Alderman Langford. Any discussion? Any discussion? All for the motion, let it know by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, like sign, motion passes. Okay, so item 14. Get it going.
Mr. Mayor, I bring this up because I've been asked a few questions I'm not quite sure I'm understanding the answer to. And I don't see Darius in the room, so I'm not sure if we can maybe clarify this tonight or not. But if a property within the city is designated as residential, is it lawful for a business operation to be conducted on that piece of property? I think there perhaps may be some examples of that in town. And then if so I think we just need to clarify that, is that, Mr.
John Meadows is present. John,
I guess it would all depend on when the business
push your
began.
button, John.
I think it all would depend on when the business began. I mean, there may be situations where someone was grandfathered in before a particular area was zoned in a certain way, so. But I think if it's a residential area and someone starts a new business, then I think there's probably gonna be issues with that.
Okay, then, what would be your suggestion for someone who's interested in knowing the answer to that? On a specific situation or multiple situations?
Then I'll be glad to research it for you and report back to you.
Okay.
As far as the remedy, how to address it,
Right.
I think that would fall under the, I think our codes officer, public officer will be responsible for policing that as well as the other property maintenance regulations.
Right.
If someone's in violation of the zoning ordinance.
Thank you, John. Okay, I'm looking through all of it. Just the announcement, the 80th TML annual conference, that will have elected officials, academies 1 and 2. Also, the training, that we will need to have, will be in Memphis as well on June 22nd, 25th. I'll have Ms. Phyllis to email you a copy of that if anyone wants to go. Also about the mandatory training that we had to have about the water, being part of the Water Utilities Board and things of that nature. Now, there will be training other places as well, but if anyone is interested in attending the 80th TML Annual Conference in Memphis, June 22nd, then please let Phyllis know when we get you signed. There's no other business with
Mr. Mayor, I have one other comment, if I may. There's been a lot of work put into the revising of and updating the municipal property maintenance code. There's a lot of people on this committee that are giving their time voluntarily to serve on our new advisory board. All of these ordinances are with the intent of basically helping to remedy and clean up our town. And I just want to make it clear that I think it's absolutely of essence that we as a city are doing our part to ensure that these codes and these ordinances are being enforced. Because if we turn a blind eye to very obvious things that are around town, then all this is really futile, in my opinion. So just want to make certain that we as a city is doing our part.
Thank you, Kelly. All right, sir, no other business with the city. I need a motion to adjourn. Motion made by Alderman Dishman, second. Second by Alderman Dodson. All for the motion, let it know by saying aye. All opposed,